What is up, podcast people?
Welcome to
another date. What is happening? You just what?
I tried to copy you.
Oh, you tried to copy me,
Yeah.
dude. There's one thing about my life,
Dude.
is that it's so amazing.
Oh my.
It can't be copied.
Welcome
to another day.
Ego's radiating.
Another podcast. My name is Josh. Welcome to our Three Strands podcast. Got Kayla, got Noel here. And excited that you guys are with us today. You say my ego is radiating?
Yeah,
No,
like,
it's
I'm
not.
just so awesome.
I'm so humble. Check out my humility.
Yeah, for sure.
Somebody take a picture of my humility. We only have 4. Actually, dude, I just love this side. I got 4
I'm
cameras.
so humble, so take a picture
I
of
got
me.
4. I'm so humble. I got 4 cameras.
This is
pointed
not
at
a
my
good
face
look
right
at
now.
you
This
right
is
now.
actually really humble.
Yeah. Try to show you.
Can you actually guys fill out the survey for the Humility Year Award?
Mm-hmm.
We just started off 2025, so I'm gonna put my name in the
for sure.
bucket.
I bet you are.
What's the
We're
most
8
humble
days
thing
in.
about you?
I don't know.
That I don't brag about it.
That I don't know what the most
That I don't
humble
know.
thing is about me.
What about you?
What's
Sounds
the
like you
most
got an
humble-
answer.
Is that I'm great at knowing when I can brag. I'm great at knowing when I can be have a little ego and when I need to be humble. It's like
No.
a strategic humility.
Right.
Some would call it a false humility, but strategic humility.
Okay.
Anyway, so today what we talking about?
What are we talking about today?
Sex. I'm just kidding.
Sex.
The lack of sex, therefore.
The lack of sex. Okay.
Explain.
Explain the lack of sex. Gen Z.
Or like how you came up on it, because that was random.
How did I come up on it? This was probably like 3 weeks ago. I can't remember where, or when.
I don't know. You
But
just randomly told
in
me.
2019, guess how many? Guess the percentage of Gen Z that was actively having sex in 2019.
Gen Z actively having sex.
Yep, in 2019.
50%.
No, not that high.
Guess a percent.
30%.
Close.
33.
Nope. 38%.
Ah.
So if you were in a room of 10 people, 3.8 of them, so around 4 people of them were actively having sex.
Like
Gen Z.
premarital sex?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sex outside of marriage. Now, guess where we're at today, 2025, that percentage.
I feel like
21.
84.
Nope, 30. So it dropped 8%, almost like a whole person.
Like, which
Wow.
we should be like celebrating.
Yeah,
right?
that's a
So
good
in a
thing.
room of 100 people in 2019, 38 of those 100 people were having sex.
And this isn't even like being like, are you a Christian? Like, this is just across the
Just
board.
sex, yeah.
Okay.
So now, 2025, 30 people out of those 38, out of the 100, 30 out of 100 are having sex. So 8 less people,
I just don't believe that.
percentage-wise. Why do you not believe it?
Because I feel like everything you hear, at least as like a Christian, is that like we're the only people who like want to like save themselves for marriage or like aren't actively participating in sex before marriage. And so I feel like then the other percentage would be like, all right, that means like 50-60% of people are doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't know, I feel like those numbers should
Now,
be
I would say take these numbers for what they are. It is referring to actively having sex. So they did a survey of saying, hey, are you actively involved in sexual intercourse? 30 in 2019, 38 people out of 100 said yes. 2025, 30 people out of 100 said yes. That's not referring to, hey, have you lost your virginity, or are you addicted to anything, or just referring to being actively involved in sex.
they define what actively is?
No.
Oh. You said that you had all the answers for me.
Well, I mean, I don't have like I'm not
I had
the
a
survey
lot of
person.
questions.
What questions?
Well, that was one of them.
Okay, what's another one?
Why?
Why are we having less sex?
Yeah.
I would pivot to a couple reasons of why Gen Z
Like, is
having,
it because we're like more socially awkward because of technology?
That would probably be my main answer.
You really think so?
100%.
Maybe everyone is getting saved and becoming Christian.
Oh,
Yes.
go no,
I would
yay!
say, I think we are learning a lot more. Like Gen Z is seeing the outcome of sex outside of marriage that millennials participated in. So like the generation above us,
Yeah.
I think we see the damage it caused.
But then why does the generation above us like get so mad and yell at us for having sex before marriage if in their times it was more prevalent than ours?
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm 25. I'm not. But I would say like we have learned, like we've seen the people above us, and maybe are learning a little bit more.
Like the divorce rates, maybe they see people's like families breaking up.
Right,
like,
right.
something.
Gen Z
Yeah.
are the kids of millennials and baby boomers, like the people who've had a lot more sex than our generation. We may have seen the damage it caused, but I wouldn't put just that Band-Aid on it. I think technology is probably the biggest piece.
What about like because we're socially awkward from it, because they have
All the above.
because they have options of like are they watching more porn, so then therefore
sure.
they're not having sex.
The porn stats are up, but then also AI, and the ability to have virtual relationships, VR, and just the ability to isolate yourself, but get all the fulfillment you need alone in a room on a cell phone, to where you don't need to physically be with another person to have that enjoyment. You can just you can chat with AI for 10 hours. You can go on VR. You can.
I do
things.
talk to ChatGPT, not in a weird
I
manner.
talked to ChatGPT today
Yeah,
about nothing weird.
it knows my entire life.
Yeah, but I think truly, right? If I'm if you're just a Gen Z out there, right, and you're already, man, I don't like making friends, I don't like doing my thing, so I can get all the community fulfillment and sexual enjoyment by myself, isolated in a room, and there's no need for
Why
you.
would I go out?
Yeah. Not saying that that's a good thing. I would disagree and say that is not a good thing. But
Yeah.
that would justify the reason why the sex statistics are lower.
Technology,
Yeah.
or like specifically porn use.
Technology across the board. Man, porn use, AI, VR, just technology, our cell phones are probably a huge reason why.
But then if you said it went down from last year to this year, but technology and everything's only getting better, going
Well,
up.
it's not getting
Well,
better.
just
it's
getting more prevalent.
It's getting
like
more
social media
advanced
and
though, to where like there's robots and
yeah.
But now, right?
But
so
now
I can
it's
buy a
not
robot
reason.
and hang out in my basement with a robot and never have to socialize with anybody.
yeah.
Right? The advancement of technology.
Oh, and then okay, that made
is
some
at
sense.
the sacrifice of humanity being in community.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because technology is advancing, humanity no longer needs to be in community because technology is advancing.
Mm-hmm.
They can get all the social interaction they need digitally,
Mm-hmm.
and it's at the sacrifice of physical interaction.
And what do you think this means for like
Like what? Are we doing about it?
to the percentage going down, but also this means something way worse. Well, not way worse, but like
There's
something.
still underlying
that might
issues,
not
like,
be
Yeah.
better.
The
Yeah.
reason why it's going down is not any better. It's not 'cause
Yeah.
we're all
So
got
what does
saved.
this mean
So what do
for
we
Gen
do?
Z?
I say for us, we need to, like, if you're
Like,
out
is this
there,
the mark of the beast?
No, I'm not going
I'm
that-
joking.
that
I'm
extreme.
joking.
But I would say you need to double down on how you find and build community.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would say that. Like, if you're somebody out there and you're a leader, volunteer, or in any capacity, you need to double down on how you lead others and volunteer for others and building that community. And if you're just an individual listening, you need to force yourself outside of your bedroom, outside of your dorm room. Force yourself to be in social environment, not to have sex.
I was gonna say, but still remain
Yeah.
abstinent in that manner.
But for community and
Yeah.
for friendships, like get involved in a local church, go hang out, like go bowling, like double down on how you're finding and building community. I think that'll be a very determining factor on the direction our generation takes, is what we find community in.
What would you say, like, in percentage wise, is this 50% happening from technology? And what would you think is the other 50?
My
Like
personal opinion,
we talked about technology. What else do you think is like aiding
I
to
would
this?
say 80% is technology.
Oh, wow.
No, 60 technology, 40% mental health. I would say 60% technology, and then 40% mental health.
What do you mean?
Of either anxiety, depression.
I feel like people run towards that with
Yeah.
anxiety and depression.
I don't think they run towards having sex with another person. I think they just run towards pleasures. And
I've heard that's how like
fulfillments.
people like cope.
Some people.
Everything I've learned is wrong.
I'm not saying, and this is not because we saw one person do it here, it is now reflecting for everybody else. Like, I think we've all seen individual cases of people who do things, but just from a overall big umbrella perspective, the percentages are going down, but also the reason why those percentages are going up. Right? We're the most anxious generation, the most depressed generation, most suicidal generation.
Why?
Why? I would also say that goes back to technology. I would say this could all be pointed back to technology. So, like, the reason why people are anxious, because you're comparing yourself, you're looking at other people, you're letting technology and what you see on technology cause you to be anxious, or then cause you to be depressed, or cause you to be, whatever it may be. I would say technology is a huge, like, a lot of arrows could point back there.
Okay, so I mean, obviously you guys are married, but for the mental health side of it, what do you guys do to combat that?
Combat anxiety.
Yeah, anxiety or depression, like you're talking about.
Well, this
that
is so
stems
hard
from
because this study
technology.
was like not from Christians,
Well,
and so
this is where you need to interweave, and hopefully the world will see or anybody out there will see that only true peace is found in Jesus, and fulfillment is found
True.
in Jesus, and joy is found in Jesus. Like
Yeah.
everything you're struggling with and
Regardless.
searching for in technology will continue to leave a void inside of you that you'll keep then searching for.
If the world gave it to you, the world can take it away.
Yeah. So I would say there's the piece to that is that you need to double down on community
Yeah.
where you find it in and let it be inside of a church.
Yeah.
That still blows my mind. But then I remember when you brought this up to me, I started asking you questions, and then I brought up like this thing about like the books, the erotic like books that have been going like wild. And
Oh,
then,
yeah.
And like, do you think that has a plan? Okay, so there's like this huge thing online right now, and mostly it's geared towards Christian women going through this, but men go through it. Christians don't go through it, but they don't have the conviction. But there's like these erotic books, again geared towards women. They're reading them, and they're filled with sex. They're basically porn, but on pages. And a lot of Christian women are reading them. Well, not all of them, but I see like there's a big debate between like if you're a Christian you shouldn't read them, and then other ones are like, no, like this is just reading, I'm not like whatever. And so when he brought up this about the whole sex recession, people are getting like their contentment from porn, and then I was thinking about like Christian women and reading these books of like they have this man who's perfect, and then like it's like this romantic thing, and it's like, why should I ever date a man if I can read, like, you know?
And then that can like
I'll
mess
say
up
it's a
your view
piece
in
to the
your
puzzle,
life.
but it's not the puzzle.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't think it's fully from that one thing. But like,
What you saying?
I was just saying that just messes it up even more, because then women have this skewed image of what like a man should be from a book. You know, like you can paint a man to be perfect in a book, but
Will be
that's just more
another
of the problem,
big piece
though.
of the puzzle. Like if I were
Yeah.
to put something else with technology, up there with mental health, I would also put with where Gen Z is at with their stage of life.
because didn't
compare where
our
millennials-
marriage
Huh?
didn't our marriage rates go up again?
I
Did
have
the marriage
no
rate
idea.
finally increase? Because it's been decreasing.
I have no idea.
Continue.
Okay.
You said you were ready.
Another big piece.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Gen Z is getting
Research
married
it.
less.
Research it. Really?
Or they're
Hold on. We have a
they're
professional
getting
researcher.
married- Gen Z is getting married older. So it may not be getting married less, but getting married at an older age. That 40% of Gen Z have delayed marriage because of economic pressures. So Gen Z is a generation that is getting married older. And I would say this also incorporates to the sex stuff, is that,
It's too expensive to go out.
well, I'll say no, Gen Z, like a 22-year-old now in Gen Z compared to a 22-year-old 15 years ago that was a millennial,
Yeah.
right? Where they're both at in their stage of lives are totally different. Like the
Oh yeah, they owned a house at that time.
right, a Gen Z, like, man, if you're like I was with my parents till 24, right? Many Gen Z, you're living with your parent. Like there's a lot of financial burdens and a lot of financial things causing your stage of life to be stayed. Hey, I'm single, I'm living with my parents, or dating, I'm living with my parents, or like your bubble in your stage of life is different than where generations above us were. So everything is getting pushed back. So if statistically more Gen Z are living with their parents at 22 than millennials, that's a lot less time to have sex, right? If mom and dad are in the living room and your bedroom's next door, you're not inviting homie over or your homegirl over to have sex. Like you gotta go to extra lengths to get what you desire in those manners.
I just still am so like astonished at that rate. I don't think it like I'm like everything you're being
I
told.
mean, it's still a high rate. Like if you were
Yeah.
to take 100 chairs and mark 30 of them with pink paint and say, hey, if you're sitting on
What
a chair,
percent of Gen Z is Christian right now? Like, can you
percent
Google?
of Gen
Can you
Z?
Google that?
Yeah.
The percentage of Gen Z that claim to be Christian,
There had to be in
It's,
some kind of study.
it's in the 30s.
I thought it was like 20s or 30s.
It's in the 30s.
Let's look. What percent of Gen Z? claims to
no,
be
well, your
Christian?
new role in the
She
podcast
is
to
like our
Google it.
researcher.
Between the percentage identifies as Christian between 27 and 36%.
Okay, so you have
27
100
and
people.
36.
Say 32 of them are Christian, and maybe out of them, and other non-Christians, another 30 of them are actively.
It says only 4% of Gen Z have a biblical worldview. So,
Like, they'll I
like
claim to
actually,
be Christian,
Yeah.
but I'm not actually following Jesus type thing.
yeah.
You look so like
I'm.
a bomb
I
was
told
dropped
you.
in
I'm
your
trying
world
to
right now.
think. I'm so like. So
I
then
mean, it makes sense though if like social media is just taking you over and you like.
Right, if you take the same
Yeah.
100
I'm like watching Love Is Blind, all this stuff.
Right, and that goes back to the faulty view that our
Yeah.
generation has on sex
Mm-hmm.
and relationships, is that we get it all from Love Is Blind, from Netflix, from TV shows, from Instagram. Like and paint this picture. Shout out to the last episode we just did about spiritual boundaries in dating and that question. Like we paint this picture of what, and we take this one picture we get and make that the normality for everything. Because I see on one Love is Blind episode and they can't keep the stuff together. So that's the normal thing for all.
Oh, not Love is Blind. What is it called? They don't have sex until they finally meet each other. They're the Love Island. There we go. Sorry, I wanted to be correct in my TV shows.
Oh, sorry. But we get the view of sex, relationships, and things from TV shows, and then that's the thing we search for out in relationships,
and you'll never
and you won't find it
because it's not real.
It's control. It's a controlled environment. It's made up. There's somebody behind the camera saying, "Hey,
say this,
do this, and say this, and make it look like this." Like it's a controlled environment. It's not a organic or authentic thing.
Yeah.
Well, so with the regression, like us as Christians, yes, we want to applaud it, like I said, because that means people hopefully aren't having premarital sex. They understand the dangers of it. But then what does that mean as Christians for us to now help the underlying issues and then continue to like not aid in premarital sex, but help those underlying issues?
Yeah, I'd say that's the win. Right? If you take the same 100 chairs, if 30 of those chairs are having sex, 60 of those chairs are feeling hopeless and sad, depressed. 40 of those chairs have attempted suicide. Like there's a lot more frequent things happening than sex. Sex is happening, but there are more things happening at a rapid pace. And I would say that's the target for our generation. But the thing causing all of it, I would say, points back, at least practically, like spiritual warfare, Satan doing his thing, I think practically can point back to technology and the advancement of AI and VR.
So then what do we do as Christians? Do we not partake in technology?
No.
No.
Not at all.
Or we be the light in technology?
No, man. We need to learn how to throw a punch back in a sense.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like your phone, right? If my only perspective for my phone is that, man, Satan's going to use this thing to steal, kill, and destroy. And but I want to start my Christian influencer page and be a light in a dark world and do all this stuff. Like, take your same phone, but now just have the perspective of, hey, at any point in time, I could call somebody and pray for them. Hey, at any point in time, I could send homie in California a text message and send him a Bible verse. At any point in time, like, you can also use this for a lot of good. And biblically speaking, greater is he who is in you than he in the world. Like, you're already winning. You're on the winning team. Like, it's not a level playing field battle of how your phone is used. Like, you already won. And you can now use technology to grow the kingdom even more. So I would be like, no, we can't. Like, we got to revolt against technology. Well, from a mass big umbrella perspective, if you as an individual are dealing with habitual sin and you can point it back to your phone, I would smash your phone with a hammer.
Yeah.
And get a flip phone. And we'll get you a little Garmin GPS or, some paper maps, whatever we need.
Yeah, we'll Google Maps you whatever you need.
But I would not discredit the method from the mission, right? If the mission we have is to make disciples and grow the kingdom, one of the main tools we have, and we're already on the winning team, is technology. Man, so I would just learn how to be creative and change your perspective on how it's used, and then use it for that, right? Don't just be like, oh yeah, that'd be really cool if I, use my phone for a good thing. Like, no, actually do that. Don't participate in anything bad. Like, don't start slandering people and so like. Be in the world, but
that's so random. But like, there's really, really random. There's always like, I follow like a bunch of people on Instagram, but they're always like these hate comments in somebody's comments, and the people call them out. So they'll be like, this person literally just told me that like, they basically were like shaming them and what they were wearing and like just like cussing at them in their comment section, and then they pulled up their Instagram bio and it was like, love Jesus, love my family, so and they were like, maybe don't comment that on my page. And that just reminded me that.
But don't
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
No, for sure. So don't use your phone or technology for the good it can be used for, and then don't participate in the bad. Like, it's very, 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 very simple. I would say the practicality is very simple. Like, you have a very awesome method, an awesome tool that can be used. If you're not someone mature enough to use it in that manner, I wouldn't use that tool and pick it up just yet. But then don't we're in the world, not of the world, right? Don't participate in slander and comparison, and fall into temptation. Like, don't do these things.
Do you think like maybe the increase of Christianity in the Gen Z might have had like a tiny role to play in that percentage going down? Because right now,
Sure.
Gen Z is experiencing a huge awakening in Jesus, like
Yeah.
with
Yeah, I would
the
say,
with
like-
young adult movements, everything. So
Yeah.
you don't think like
No, for sure. There's a lot of ingredients at play that
Yeah.
made the cake, and it's not just because of technology. It's not just because of mental health. Not
Yeah.
just because of spiritual.
but like
awakening.
on like a more lighthearted side of not
for sure,
being
like-
depression and all that stuff. Like
yeah.
I truly believe
Like,
like,
there's
a
revival too,
good like
yeah.
a nice piece of it came from this young
People
adult
getting
awakening that's
saved.
going on right now in
Yep.
Gen
Yeah.
Z.
Yeah, and I would love to.
I would love to believe that.
as
I
well,
know.
right? Like, I would, and I do believe. Well, I do believe a young
Yeah.
adult awakening is happening.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
believe there is a spiritual renewal, revival with Gen Z. Like our friend, I totally
Yeah.
believe that. Do I think that is happening at the rate to combat
That
Everything.
us sinning and having
Like
sex?
to show up
Yeah.
on the percentages.
I would say no. Maybe in a couple years
we
see
can
that.
make it.
Or because right now, right, we're
Okay.
seeing a lot of salvation
Mm-hmm.
and evangelism, right? College campuses, outreaches, passion conference just happened. Like we're seeing a lot of people be turning to Jesus, right? But we see this all the time, right? Somebody who just turned into Jesus, like it takes a long time to come out of a addiction.
Yeah.
It takes
It's
a
a
long
pruning,
time to
yeah.
overcome.
Yeah.
Not, like, and some people's stories that hey, Jesus broke this chain, and it came off for sure. And there's still a vast majority
yeah.
that's like, hey, look, I'm still working on this following Jesus part. So I'm still working on breaking up with my girlfriend or breaking up with a boyfriend or moving out and not cohabitating, right? So I think it's awesome to celebrate the salvations and the work we're seeing. I personally don't think it's outpacing the sin that's taking place. But I do think, I mean, a year, like 3, 4, 5 years from now, like all these people that on these college campuses, pastor conference that have been saved and gave their lives to Christ and then have spent 1, 2, 3, 4, like maturing as a disciple and following Jesus, I think for sure that we'll see that percentage go down, which would be awesome for sure to see the maturity take place of the evangelism explosion that we're seeing. That would be dope.
That'd be dope.
That would be awesome. That all these thousands of people that
Yeah.
are being saved, now they're getting plugged into a church. Now they're being matured.
They're
Now they're finding accountability.
Yeah.
and
Well, it would be
community.
great for this age that we change the demographic of being an
For
inch
the
deep and a
next-
mile wide. Like
Yeah.
if
For
we
sure.
can be completely,
And then, but to get out of the stuff we're talking about,
yeah,
you got to be a mile deep,
yeah,
right? You got to have depth and be discipled and have community and accountability, and that takes time, that takes growth, that takes discipline, that takes commitment. It's not just a one and done decision. Like that's where the work is put in.
that was interesting. I'm done with my question.
Okay, the Gen Z sex regression, and that's just as a 20 like Gen Z. The last Gen Z person to be born, I think, was 2010, 2012, like somewhere around there. Like
What?
No way.
The age gap of Gen
Noel,
Z,
do your research.
it's like 1999 to like 2012 or something like that.
What? Well, I hope they're not having sex if they were born in 2012.
Oh my gosh, you're right. 1997 to 2012.
Yeah, so that means somebody born in 2012 is 13 years old today.
Yeah.
In
So
the
like,
same
so we're
generation.
thinking of
11 to
Gen Z
26.
right now.
Yeah, true.
So that means the 13-year-old today, when they're
But they are
7
getting
years from now-
introduced to porn way earlier.
Well, for sure. So that means the 13-year-old today, like the end of Gen Z, is in 7 years, they'll be 20. They'll be just graduated college.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what these statistics will look like in 7 years.
Well, hopefully they look lower.
Hopefully they
I'll
look
pray.
lower. That's right. We're going to pray. And that's what, man, my encouragement then to this, or the solution to the problem,
Yeah.
double down on the community you're in. I think that's yes, Jesus, salvation, yes, and like the practical bucket of this, not just the spiritual bucket.
Yeah.
Double down on your community. That don't be isolated and lonely, and just put yourself in positions for Satan to take advantage of you in.
So you think like for what is the next generation?
Alpha?
Well,
Like
after
the
that, yeah.
younger
Alpha.
kids, Gen
Yeah.
A. So do you think that's like the answer for them too? Because all we've just seen is it get worse from millennials to Gen Z.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's nothing new under the sun. That there was a sex problem today. There was a sex problem in the Church of Corinth. When the Bible was written, like there's nothing new under the sun. Like,
Yeah.
there's a sex problem today. It was a sex problem 2,000 years ago, and the same antidote 2,000 years ago. It's the same antidote today.
Right.
Like, hey, we got to handle the spiritual stuff and the physical stuff. If you handle just the spiritual stuff and have the physical stuff, it's not going to help you. If you handle just the physical stuff and not the spiritual stuff, still not going to help you. You got to do both at the same time.
Yeah.
That's why we call ourselves 3 strands, right?
Yeah.
One personal, Ecclesiastes 4:12. If it is just you alone, like, and you can be great with Jesus, right? And you can be doing your thing. But if it is just you alone in your bedroom or in your dorm room year after year, and there's no friends and no community, like, you're easily defeated.
Yeah.
Right? Temptation can come. It is easy for you to be defeated. But it's not until you have 2 and 3 people there to where a 3-stranded cord is not easily defeated. Like, they got your back. You got their back. So I would double down on community. Again and again and again and again. Keep doubling down on it. Find pockets and places that you can find biblical community.
Yeah.
I'm just pondering on all the information.
Ponder away. Well, appreciate you guys listening to...
If you have any random facts that you'd like us to discuss again.
I can Google them.
and having sex. Sex less. But the reasons why are increasing with anxiety and depression and mental health. So if you're a church leader out there, I would double down on what you're doing for mental health and those solutions. Because that's...
You're missing such a huge age range if you dismiss mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would double down
You are
on that.
dismissing their pain, and
Yeah.
it is.
So
Very
double
true.
down on community, double down on mental health. But if you are the person dealing with mental health and dealing with isolation, it is solely on you. Like, and I would love to say, hey, the perfect picture, somebody's going to fly in and pick you up and be like, hey, man, let me invite you to church. Like, come on with me. Like,
But
that
they
could happen.
won't.
But the reality is, man, if
Yeah.
you're still in your bedroom or in your dorm room lonely, nothing's going to change on Thursday when you wake up or Friday when you wake up.
Yeah.
Like, the ball is in your court to show up.
Yeah.
And I pray and hope you show up. Like, even if it's not easy, if it's not going to be fun, like the common excuse of like, hey, I don't want to go because I'm not going to know anybody, or I don't want to go alone. Like, we're past those excuses.
And it's rarely correct, too. And I'm one of those people that say that. But every single time I've showed up, I'm like, I had a great time.
Oh, for sure. I see it
Yeah.
time and time again, the testimonies of it. But if you're like, man, I don't want to go somewhere because I'm not going to know anybody, and it's going to be isolating, I'm going to be alone, people are going to make fun of me, they're going to judge me. Like, all these other things that are just now increasing your anxiety even more, it's not helping. Like, let's try a different antidote. Let's try showing up, right? Let's try inviting people to go hang out instead of waiting on to get an invite from somebody. Let's try building community. Dude, we do that so much. And that's a whole nother episode. Like, like, we love, everybody wants to be the person that gets invited to things, but then you complain you're lonely and you never invited buddy to something. Everybody wants to get invited to go bowling, and nobody wants to be the person to create the group chat and say, hey, let's go bowling. Like, we got to be, especially Christians, it is on you to be the one, to be the light in the world.
Yeah.
If you're a Christian, man, get your people together and go. Right? Go bowling.
It's
Go
going to be like
hang
an
out, go to
influx of
church.
events now.
No, like, we should, though. Like, if you are a Christian and you know your friends are Christians too, and they're just lonely and they're complaining they're lonely, don't all just sit there on your thumbs and be like, man, I really wish somebody would hang
We
out
are all
with us.
lonely right now.
Like, just admit it. Like, hey, all 7 of us, hey, we're all lonely.
Let's
Let's
just
go
go
bowling.
hang out.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? But, like, and seriously, like, take that step, take that faith, like, take that jump for the greater good of everybody else. But that's the leadership aspect.
Yeah.
That could be a whole nother episode. Well, appreciate you guys hopping on today. The Gen Z sex regression. I would strongly advise you not have sex outside of marriage, not cohabitate and live together.
But don't be depressed.
Yeah, all these things. But seriously, man, double down on community, double down on your mental health. And if you're looking for a place to do that, join us on a Monday night at 6:30 p.m. That was smooth. Thank you. I don't want to, let me be humble about this.
And end
That
it
was a
right
very
here.
smooth transition. You can visit us, stillcreek.org
You're so
/3
humble.
strands or at 3 strands group on Instagram. We're in the Charlotte area every Monday night at 6:30. We'd love to see
Charlotte, Fort Mill, Rock Hill,
you. Charlotte,
Concord,
Fort Mill,
Harris-
Rock Hill, Belmont, Clover, Lake Wiley, Gaston County. I don't know.
However far
Peace
you will
out.
drive.
Peace
Bye.
out, guys.